My name is Sam Frischman, and I'm founder and CEO of MDC. We're a medical robotics company, and we're advancing the fight against cancer with a new chapter in minimally invasive surgery. Hello, everyone. My name's Sam. I'm CEO of MDC. We're a medical robotics company, and we're creating a new chapter in minimally invasive surgery. Cancer impacts everyone, whether directly or through family and friends. And unfortunately, over 40,000 patients die each year from misdiagnosis or delayed diagnosis. That's the same number as all car fatalities in the US annually, and it's largely preventable. These mistakes and misprevention opportunities also result in a large financial burden, over $200 billion in excess costs. Biopsy is one of the first steps in the diagnostic process, and what we're specifically focused on are the 3 million percutaneous soft tissue biopsies done each year in the US. These are done with a long needle puncturing through the skin, targeting small lesions in organs like the liver and kidney. It's hard to hit these lesions, so there's a lot of diagnostic error, missed targets in about 25% of these cases. The way these procedures are done today is shown in this animation. You insert the needle partway, and then you put the patient back in the scanner to re-image, make sure everything's on track. And then you pull them out and insert further. And this process repeats many times until you reach the target. Today, MRI biopsies are difficult and slow. We're making them simple and efficient. We've created a robotic device that provides real-time remote access from the control room, which is adjacent to the scanner room. And the input and output are connected with a hydraulic transmission. That's what enables actuation inside the MRI, where you can't have electric motors. This is an animation of what we're building. We've got a boom structure that swings in and out of the way so you can easily load the patient. And then it goes in the scanner with the patient. The physician sits in the control room and is able to teleoperate, adjusting the needle's angle and advancing the needle, all using our hydraulics and all with real-time MRI guidance. Of course, that's an animation, but we've built a lot of prototypes to prove out this technology. At the top, you see a 6-axis arm built entirely of plastics and ceramics. And it's actuated with our hydraulics, which again enables it to be used inside the MRI. As you can see, it's very responsive, 1-to-1 position, 1-to-1 in force. At the bottom is a 5-axis mechanism specific for liver biopsy, which is our initial target indication. We've done animal work to demonstrate feasibility of this system in a clinical setting. We were able to use our device to advance a biopsy needle into a liver of a pig. And you can see some sample scans used during the procedure on the bottom. One of the elements of our technology we're most excited about is our ability to digitize procedures and ultimately integrate AI. We've added motors and sensors to the input, and what that enables is you can still teleoperate the device manually, as you see in the video, but now you can even let go and the motors take over. In this example, we're just doing motion replication, but ultimately we're going to be able to gather data from manual procedures, train an AI biopsy assistant, and give suggestions on incision points, position trajectory, and force profile, and assist in achieving those as needed. Hopefully that gets you excited about our technology. Now let's talk about market strategy. First, we're going to strengthen. We're going to improve current liver biopsies that are done in that stepwise process I described. Then we're going to expand to treatments, specifically ablation, and then ultimately standardize, leveraging all the data that we gather and our AI biopsy assistant. Liver cancer is a big market, over 350,000 procedures in the US, over 10,000 ablations, and over 3 million procedures across the different soft tissue organs that we can target. Bottom-up analysis, over $3 billion in device sales and over $2 billion in recurring revenue from our disposable kit, software, and maintenance. And we expect FDA approval in 2026. We have a number of value propositions focused on improved targeting precision and reduced procedure duration, but one of the points I want to emphasize is our ability to 10x MRI revenue for community hospitals by democratizing care and enabling them to do interventional MRI. Diagnostic MRI is about $2 to $5K per procedure, interventional $20 to $50. But these are hard procedures, so they're typically bumped to larger centers and teaching hospitals. With our system, by simplifying and standardizing, we're going to bring interventional MRI to community hospitals all over the country and all over the world. We've got a great team. We're a spin-out from Stanford University, where we developed a lot of the underlying technology during my PhD. We have leading roboticists, physicians, and industry experts on our team, and we're funded by the groups you see at the bottom. Great. Enough of the slides. Let's show you some real hardware. So, of course, we weren't able to bring a full MRI and our full system on the screen, on the stage, but we were able to bring a ruggedized portable version, which we're going to use to showcase the core features of our hydraulics. We got an input and output and about 1 meter of hydraulic tubing connecting them. And one of the first things to notice as I'm manipulating the system is that it's super responsive, but there's actually no motors. So this is all controlled directly by me through the hydraulics. To demonstrate the dexterity, I'm actually going to write on my colleague Tianyang's arm here. And one of the important things to keep in mind as I'm writing is that I can actually feel the contact with his arm. I'm not just using visual cues. And that's important because during a biopsy procedure, you can actually feel the changes in tissue stiffness. Hopefully you can make out what I'm writing here. I'll finish up soon. Boom. Great. So you might say, well, writing, that's a pretty safe task. So let's up the stakes. Tianyang is actually now going to shave some hair off my arm using this super sharp straight razor. So let me go ahead and load the razor up, tighten down these screws. And one of the cool features here is that he's actually able to do this from his side because our system is totally bilateral, and that's important for haptics. So he'll go ahead and move it around, put on some shaving cream. All right. Go ahead. Do a little more. Great. So that's a clean shave and no cuts. And if you zoom in, you can actually see lots of hair. Great. Thank you. And happy to take any questions.
All right. Thank you, MDC. Never have been less tempted to rush someone's demo. Judges.
Well, thank you for not making us get part of the demo. Super cool technology. Curious about kind of reliability, repeatability, right? So hydraulic actuation, everybody loves it for robotics. The first thing you think of, and the second you realize is, oh crap, manufacturability, maintainability, reliability is in the gutter. How are you guys thinking about that? How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So upon startup, we have a calibration routine for our system. It checks that we have the right amount of fluid, that the pressures are all right. We have sensors in the system for that. And so each time you start a procedure, you basically click a button and everything's ready to go. But we actually think that having the mechanical connection between the input and output actually makes our system extra safe for physicians. As you see, there's no motors. So even if the Wi-Fi goes out or the power goes down, you still have direct access to the patient and to control the needle.
So 2 questions. 1, where are you in the approval process? And then 2, why hasn't something like this existed until now? From a technology standpoint, the core components have been around for a while.
Yeah, great question. So in terms of approval, we expect FDA approval in 2026. We have a full regulatory strategy built out both internally and with independent consultants. To answer your question around why hasn't this happened, so there's been, there are a lot of proprietary elements within our technology that we've developed, but also it's really a timing. The interventional radiologists are ready for this, the scanner suppliers are ready for this, the robotics community is ready for this. So the need, as you alluded to, of having access inside the MRI has been known for a few years, but really it's the medical community and the regulatory community and the scanner suppliers are also ready for having a device like this.
Talk a little bit about the change management you need with the practitioner. What do they need to change in terms of what they do every day?
Got it. So it's a little bit of a workflow change, but actually they love it because instead of running between the control room and the scanner room and back to the control room, they're able to stay at the control room, see live imaging, and direct teleop. So it's a better use of their time. We'll take procedures from an hour and a half to 2 hours down to about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So really cutting the procedure down by 2x.
Talk a little bit about the revenue model. I think I recall seeing on your slide a software component. Just walk us through sort of.
Yep, absolutely. So we have a number of recurring revenue streams. So a disposable kit, obviously, that you throw away every time you do a procedure. That's really key for surgical robotics. The software is all focused around the data, so gathering data during the procedures, and then suggesting, as I mentioned, incision points, position trajectories, force profiles, and things of that nature.
You said that this is a revenue-generating opportunity for the smaller hospitals. Have you begun having those conversations with potential customers and their appetite to adopt a new technology like this? Because I could imagine this fly off the shelves for these smaller hospitals, but to Mark's question, the change management might be a bit of a barrier too.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things we're really excited about. We have had those conversations, and one of the things to emphasize is that a lot of times medical devices, they're able to get adopted into those early adopters, the research hospitals, the big facilities, but then there's because they want to do clinical trials, they want to try new technology. But if you don't have a core value proposition for the smaller hospitals, which make up 95% of the hospitals out there, then you have a tough time really hitting the hockey stick curve. So we actually think that having this big value proposition for community hospitals, enabling them to do procedures that they really don't today, and 10xing their revenue on scanners that right now they're barely breaking even on doing just diagnostics.
This is going to highlight my ignorance for the FDA timelines, and you mentioned hospitals signing up, but do you have any visibility into a pipeline with hospitals, the breakdown of small versus large, and what that might look like over the next 2 years until 2026?
Yep, absolutely. So we'll do some clinical work with certain hospitals, but really the way that after we integrate with about a dozen or so hospitals, the way that this takes off is we'll work directly with the scanner suppliers, working with them to retrofit existing scanners, but then also integrate directly into the new scanners that they install at hospitals. So there's really only a handful of big scanner suppliers, so the market's great for that, working directly with them, and so it's ready to go when they install into the hospitals.
Other than the status quo of these manual biopsies, do you have any competition?
Other than status quo? Absolutely. So there are others within, so interventional radiology, robotics for interventional radiology, going back to your original question, it's a really hot topic right now because it's a great application for robots. We think we have a lot of competitive advantages, again, as we've alluded to around the dexterity, the haptics, the versatility, but there are a number, a handful of startups within the interventional radiology space.
Any final quick questions?
What are the biggest technology unlocks that biggest technology problems that you guys have attacked and solved?
Yeah, so the high stiffness, low friction hydraulics, so I didn't get into the specifics, but we're using custom seals and custom actuators that enable that having the high stiffness and low friction, so you can do this hydrostatic teleoperation in a very fluid and responsive way.
All right, give it up for MDC.